take a look at this bowl. We have vibrant, chunky zucchini with perfectly caramelized edges, sitting alongside intact, blistered cherry tomatoes. If you've tried to cook this dish at home, your result might have looked very different. Zucchini has a notorious habit of collapsing into a watery, mushy pile the moment it hits the heat. The difference between a vibrant bite and a soggy mess comes down to a battle of thermodynamics against surface moisture. To win this battle, you need two things before you even turn on the stove: carefully prepped ingredients and a large 10 to 12-inch skillet to maximize your surface area. Getting the texture right requires understanding the strict scientific boundary between searing a vegetable and accidentally steaming it. Let's start with the physical preparation. You'll cut 2 medium zucchinis into uniform half moons, exactly a 1/4 inch thick, ensuring every piece absorbs heat at the exact same rate. Raw zucchini is packed with water. If that moisture transfers to the pan, it forms steam, which immediately blocks the Maillard reaction, the chemical process responsible for browning. As you can see in this cross-section diagram, wet zucchini creates a steam barrier against the metal. When the slices are patted entirely dry with paper towels, they make direct, scorching contact with the pan. Place your skillet over medium heat and let it preheat for about 90 seconds. You want to feel a clear layer of radiant heat when you hover your hand a few inches above the metal. Add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. The visual cue that you are ready to cook is when the oil shimmers across the bottom of the pan but hasn't yet reached its smoke point. Here is the absolute rule for placement. Add the zucchini in a single, uncrowded layer. If your pan is small, you must do this in batches. This heat map schematic shows exactly why. Dumping too much mass into the skillet plummets the pan's temperature, forcing the environment out of the sear zone and directly into the steam zone. Once the slices are in, exercise complete psychological discipline. Leave them entirely undisturbed for 3 to 3.5 minutes to build the crust. When you finally turn the slice, you should see a perfectly golden, crispy caramelized edge. Cook this second side for 2 minutes so it becomes fork tender without losing its structural integrity. Patience and strict spatial awareness in the pan are the mechanics that actually transform raw squash into a savory, caramelized ingredient. With the zucchini browned, use your spatula to push the slices out to the edges of the pan, clearing a small space right in the center. Drop your sliced garlic into that center pool of oil for about 3 minutes. Watch it closely so it softens and becomes fragrant. If it browns, the entire dish will turn bitter. Next, scatter the halved cherry tomatoes across the pan, placing them cut side down into the hot oil. As the heat hits the tomatoes, their skins will blister. The internal structure softens and they violently release their trapped juices. Those acidic tomato juices immediately mix with the garlic-infused olive oil, naturally emulsifying into a light sauce at the bottom of the pan. Look at this pan. The blistered tomatoes and golden zucchini are coated in a light sauce. Now remove the skillet from the heat entirely. Fold in the torn basil. The residual heat will wilt the leaves and release their aroma. Managing that residual heat off the active burner allows you to extract maximum flavor without blackening or destroying the delicate finishing herbs. Before serving, you can make one final chemical adjustment. A drizzle of balsamic glaze adds a sweet, tangy depth, while fresh lemon juice will lift and brighten the heavier oils. Here is the final result. Notice the sharp contrast of colors in the pan: bright green basil, vibrant red tomatoes, and rich golden squash. Serve immediately over creamy polenta, toss with pasta and Parmesan, or bring out crusty bread to absorb the pan juices. By controlling surface moisture and understanding how to manage heat zones, you can take highly volatile, water-dense vegetables and turn them into a reliable, elevated staple.
Okay, be honest with me for a second. How many times have you come home after a brutally long day, chopped up some nice, expensive vegetables, tossed them in a pan, and ended up with a sad, gray, soggy pile of mush? It's basically a universal weeknight tragedy, right? We all want those vibrant, delicious veggies, but when we're rushing, we tend to skip the foundational steps that actually make food taste amazing. Well, today, we're going to fix that for good.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a complete masterclass on foundational culinary skills, and we're zoning right in on mastering the weeknight sear. We're using a super simple, everyday recipe as our canvas to show you exactly how to take your weeknight cooking from soggy and bland to legit restaurant quality. And we're going to do it without taking up your entire evening.
Just look at this. This right here is our golden goal for today, a ridiculously vibrant zucchini and cherry tomato sauté. Notice those bright, popping colors, the distinct shapes of the veggies, and most importantly, those perfectly golden brown caramelized edges on the zucchini. That is the ultimate antidote to a boring dinner. It's beautiful, it's fresh, and by the end of this explainer, you are going to know the exact science and technique to nail this every single time you cook.
To respect your time, here is exactly what's on the agenda. First up, prep smart, cook fast. Second, achieving the perfect golden sear. Third, building flavor fast, and we'll wrap it up with the perfect finishing touches.
All right, let's jump right into step 1, prep smart, cook fast.
So the real secret to a stress-free weeknight meal, it actually happens before you even turn on the stove. We're relying on a fundamental French culinary concept called mise en place. It literally just means putting in place. Listen, when you're cooking a quick sauté, things move fast. If you're frantically trying to slice tomatoes while your garlic is already sizzling in hot oil, yeah, that garlic is going to burn. By having everything prepped, measured, and waiting right by your stove, you're creating the ultimate speed hack for busy nights. You stay in total control and nothing gets ruined.
So what does that prep actually look like? Let's take our zucchini. First, we wash and trim the ends. Second, and please do not skip this, slice them uniformly into 1/4-inch thick half moons. Why uniform? Because if you've got some huge chunks and some paper-thin slices, they are never going to cook evenly. The thin ones turn to absolute mush before the big ones even get warm. And step 3, pat those slices completely dry with a paper towel. Seriously, moisture is the arch enemy of a good sear. Getting rid of that surface water is a massive hack to make sure they actually brown instead of just steaming in their own juices.
Moving right along to part 2, achieving the perfect golden sear.
Now that we're completely prepped, let's talk about the core technique that separates the pros from the soggy home failures. And it starts with the number 10, as in a 10 to 12-inch skillet. Space is absolutely essential here. Once you've got that big pan on medium heat, let it preheat for about 1.5 minutes. You want to be able to feel the warmth when you hover your hand over it. Then drop in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Give that oil another 30 to 45 seconds until it starts to shimmer. Notice I said shimmer, not smoke. That little shimmer tells you it's hot enough to instantly start caramelizing the natural sugars in our veggies.
This right here is where things usually go off the rails. Searing requires dry vegetables, hot oil, a spacious pan, and, honestly, this is the hardest part for most of us. Leaving them completely undisturbed for 3 to 3.5 minutes. Do not touch them. Compare that to steaming. Steaming is what accidentally happens when you throw wet vegetables into an overcrowded pan and nervously toss them around constantly. If you want that gorgeous golden color, you have to let the pan do its job. Lightly press the slices down with a spatula just to maximize that pan contact and then literally step back. Once the undersides are golden, flip them for another 2 minutes. That's it.
Which leads us to a totally non-negotiable rule, especially if you're meal prepping or feeding a family. Never ever crowd the pan. Look, work in 2 batches if you have to. Overcrowding traps all that moisture, drops the temperature of the pan, and pretty much guarantees a soggy, steamed mess. Taking an extra 3 minutes to sear in batches is literally the secret to unlocking those crispy, golden edges.
Okay, part 3, building flavor fast.
All right, our zucchini is beautifully seared. Now, let's build some seriously complex flavors right in that exact same pan. Our first flavor builder? Garlic. Push your seared zucchini out to the edges of the pan so you create a little empty pool of hot oil right in the center, and drop in your garlic. But precision matters here. You want to slice 3 garlic cloves really thin, about 1 to 2 millimeters thick. If you mince it up super fine, it's just going to burn instantly in that hot oil. By keeping the slices right around 1 to 2 millimeters, the garlic slowly softens, gets intensely fragrant, and turns this beautiful golden color in about 3 minutes.
Next up, we drop in our halved cherry tomatoes, cut side down. You can totally see the magic happen here. What starts as this raw, vibrant mix totally transforms as it hits the heat. After 2 or 3 minutes, those tomatoes start to blister and soften, naturally releasing their juices right into that garlic-infused olive oil. Boom! Without needing some complicated extra recipe, you've naturally created this light, ridiculously flavorful pan sauce. Give the whole thing a gentle toss, and season it with roughly 1/3 teaspoon each of salt and fresh black pepper.
And finally, part 4, the perfect finishing touches.
We are so close to eating, but this step right here, This is what elevates the dish from just good to completely unforgettable. Fresh herbs are a total game changer for weeknight dinners. We're going to need about 1/3 cup of fresh basil for this. But wait, put the knife down. You actually want to tear the basil roughly by hand. Why? Because chopping basil with a knife, especially if it isn't razor sharp, bruises the delicate leaves and leaves all those amazing essential oils stuck on your cutting board. Tearing it by hand preserves the aroma and keeps all that flavor exactly where it belongs, in your food.
Timing is literally everything on this step. You have to remove the pan from the heat entirely before you add that basil. Then, just fold it in gently. The goal is to let the residual heat from the pan and the veggies wilt the leaves just the tiniest bit. If you cook basil over an active, open flame, it turns black and completely loses its bright, summery punch. Doing this off the heat perfectly locks in that vibrant green color and that super delicate flavor.
To really wake up all those rich, savory flavors, we need an acid right at the end, and you've got some incredibly smart ingredient swaps to choose from here. You can drizzle a tablespoon of balsamic glaze right over the top for this amazing, sweet, tangy depth. Don't have a glaze handy? No worries. Just grab regular balsamic vinegar and simmer it in a small pot for 5 to 8 minutes until it gets nice and syrupy. Or, for a completely different but totally fantastic vibe, hit it with a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. That acidic finish instantly brightens and lifts the whole dish. So you've got this pan of perfectly cooked, deeply flavorful vegetables. But how do we spin this into a complete, filling meal for a crazy busy night? You've got options. You can spoon this beautiful mixture right over some creamy polenta. You could serve it in a big bowl alongside a thick slice of crusty bread, which honestly is mandatory for soaking up that incredible tomato garlic pan sauce, or just toss the whole shebang with some freshly cooked pasta and a giant handful of Parmesan cheese. It is endlessly versatile.
Well, we've covered the smart prep, the science of why you never crowd the pan, the patience you absolutely need for that golden sear, and how to build flavors and finish with fresh herbs and acid. You are now officially armed with the secrets to the perfect weeknight sear. The days of soggy veggies are completely over. So the only real question left is, what's going in your pan tonight? Take these foundational skills, get into your kitchen, and see what magic you can create. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer, and happy cooking.